From a couple in Russia who were a bit too close to this powerful blast, and a hiking group in Guatemala that witnessed one of the world's most active volcanoes, to a massive close-range eruption at Volcan Fuego that lit up the night sky, and a hiker in Indonesia who recorded this blast from the crater's edge. Here are 10 of the most shocking volcanic eruptions caught on camera. Halmahera, Indonesia is the largest of the Maluku Islands. Like most Indonesian islands, it's home to many people who live in the shadows of active volcanoes. Among the most active is Mount Dukono, a 4,100-foot complex volcano in the island's northern hemisphere. The Dukono complex features several tall peaks with overlapping craters. While official reports from this remote region are rare, it doesn't mean Mount Dukono isn't always ready to blow. In June of 2024, a hiking team recorded a stunning eruption while lying prone on the crater's edge. They had already braved the elements to get there. A little eruption wasn't about to send them packing.
Wow. Whoa! Wow! Holy I literally felt that! I literally felt both the afterblast! Jesus!
The audio is almost as impressive as the visuals. It's amazing how you see the blast long before you hear it. It's like a distant bolt of lightning or a bomb exploding several miles away. As we mentioned, getting to this volcano wasn't easy. Our hikers had to trek through remote jungles, sometimes wading through water up to their knees. They had to navigate rock slides and fallen trees, and eventually made camp near the base. After a decent night's sleep, they scaled the mountainside and took position on the crater. Our cameraman said this was the single best moment of his life. If you ask him, he'd say the perilous journey there and back was worth it. Mount Ruang, near Sulawesi, Indonesia, is the southernmost volcano on the Sangihe Island arc. Technically, it's one big volcanic island measuring about 2.5 miles wide and 3.1 miles long. From base to summit, the mountain measures just under 2,400 feet tall. Within the crater is a large lava dome that formed after a massive eruption in 1904. The volcanic island is home to about 800 people. They all had to evacuate on April 19th of 2024, when a massive eruption at Mount Ruang threatened their villages. The eruption began around 9:45 p.m., meaning many people had to flee by boat in the middle of the night. And while it must have been terrifying, the nighttime eruption still led to some truly stunning footage.
Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Ya Allah.
Allah. Orang so lari semua masuk sana. Ya Allah.
The following morning, authorities raised the volcanic alert level to 4, the highest it can go. They also issued a tsunami alert, fearing the volcano could collapse into the ocean. This led to the evacuation of 11,000 more people. Thankfully, nothing happened. The most fascinating part of this footage is all the volcanic lightning we see. While it might look like an ordinary lightning storm, the science behind it still baffles researchers today. We know that volcanic lightning is due to static electricity. We just don't know where that static is coming from. Mount Santa Maria is an active stratovolcano in the Quetzaltenango department of Guatemala. It's a part of the Sierra Madre mountain range, which includes other large volcanoes rising above Guatemala's Pacific coastal plain. In 1902, a catastrophic eruption at Santa Maria left much of southwestern Guatemala reeling. The blast produced so much lava that it led to the natural construction of Santiaguito, a lava dome complex within the eruption crater. On July 1st of 2016, hikers in Quetzaltenango were in for a real treat when Santiaguito decided to blow its lid. Thankfully, they were far enough away to enjoy the eruption safely.
Sí. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Ay, sí, esa es la más grande que hemos visto, papi.
Siempre un poco de cuidado, muchacha.
¿Por qué?
¡Ja! ¡Qué grande, mano! ¡Qué lujo! Esta muchacha sí que está grandísima.
Sí, dijeron que iba a ser enorme.
¡Wow!
¿Y te parece viene sobre nosotros, muchacha?
Sí, por eso te digo un poco de cuidado. No, la ceniza va a caer aquí.
Va a quedar aquí.
Aguadito, nunca había... Ponete ahí. ¡Ana! ¡Ana, ponete con tu hermanita!
La gran madre.
Yo tenía yo no había visto una así.
Ahí le pasas al Jaime. Sí, te aman.
Hola, oigan, ¿cómo suena eso?
Malito, ahí quédese, hermano. ¿Cómo se llama?
Wow, está bien.
Vaya, una aquí, muchacha, una aquí.
Ya, ahí está, muchacha. Rápido.
Venga, muchacha, venga. Mija, tome varias, mija. Vamos.
Wow.
Y no tuve que esperar 5 días, Franklin. Toma varias, mija. 5 minutos eran. A nosotros no.
Wow.
Ahí, todo esto es único.
Oigan, ¿cómo suena?
Mija.
Mami, ¿esa es una nube? No, mi amor. Eso es la explosión del volcán, princesa. Yo tampoco, del Santiaguito nunca había visto.
Technically, Santiaguito has been in a constant eruptive state since 1922. Small eruptions and pyroclastic flows have caused the lava dome to balloon in size over the past 100 years. This eruption occurred around 9:20 a.m. Our hikers watched as the ash plume rose roughly 2.5 kilometers or 1.5 miles into the sky. Lava flowed down the southern flank, and ashfall was reported in several nearby towns. Thankfully, it didn't cause any damage, and nobody was hurt. The Santa Maria Volcanic Complex is one of 16 mountains on a list called the Decade Volcanoes. Researchers have determined that these 16 volcanoes are worth closer study due to their history of destructive eruptions and their proximity to populated areas. Other volcanoes on this list include the Taal volcano in the Philippines, Mount Vesuvius in Italy, and Mount Rainier in Washington. Mount Ibeco is an active Soma volcano on Paramushir Island in eastern Russia. It's among the most active volcanoes in the Kuril archipelago, a chain of contested islands stretching from the southern tip of the Kamchatka Peninsula to northern Japan. On September 28th of 2018, a group of tourists were in the right place at the right time when Mount Ibeco erupted before their eyes. Many were wise enough to move back, but one couple had other ideas. They moved closer and began filming this once-in-a-lifetime moment.
Нет, я бежал, типа. Нет.
А камни, ты слышал? Фу, блин. Говорит.
И без этого, без продувки, блядь.
Не, он же продувал, мы просто внимание.
Видимо, это было то, что мы снимали, это он продувал, блядь.
Прям вот над моей головой
Пиздец.
камушки рассеялись. А так мы бы должны были быть вот на той тропинке. Можно я покажу пальцем? Мы вот собирались вот туда вот слева, на тропинку, идти смотреть озеро. Но почему-то все очень долго собирались.
According to one of the tourists, everyone was lucky to be alive. They'd been watching volcanic activity for about 2 hours when they decided to walk down toward the acid lake. For some reason, they decided to stop walking and turn back. Just as they cleared the danger zone, the volcano erupted. If they stayed near the lake, well, do we have to spell it out? According to the Global Volcanism Project, the ash plume stretched over 13,000 feet into the sky. Volcan Fuego is a 12,000-foot stratovolcano near Antigua, Guatemala. The name translates to volcano of fire, which makes sense given its history of frequent eruptions. Naturally, volcano enthusiasts flock to Volcan de Fuego for the best chance of seeing a large eruption up close and personal. This group was in for a special treat on a clear night in 2022 when the volcano of fire showed them where the name comes from. We'll stop talking so you can see that again.
Wow.
Oh, that looks like it's coming here, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some coming down. Yeah, we just had some good bias.
That was crazy.
Okay. All the guides took off running.
The guy towards it.
Whoa.
According to our hikers, large boulders of molten rock began landing within 50 meters of them. Well, that's technically about 164 feet, but it's still too close for comfort. You can hear the slight panic in their voices, but none can pull their eyes off the stunning eruption. Like Santa Maria, Fuego is part of the Sierra Madre mountain range. As of 2024, Fuego is in a constant state of eruption, with small explosions of ash and gas occurring every 15 to 20 minutes. If watching a volcanic eruption is on your bucket list, then Volcan de Fuego is probably your best bet. Koho, Hawaii was a thriving town in the Puna district on Big Island. Then, on January 8th of 1960, a slow-moving lava wall from Mount Kilauea crawled toward the village and buried it. Close to 100 homes and businesses were lost in the lava. For the next 60 years, locals and government officials worked to rebuild the town. Over time, it became an attractive tourist destination, with people wanting to move there from mainland USA. Soon, it became the most expensive place to live in the Puna district, with houses costing over $1 million each. But just because they're expensive doesn't mean they're safe. The Koho area was still at an extremely high risk for lava flow. It was only a matter of time before Mother Nature came knocking again. She finally arrived on May 3rd of 2018, when Kilauea's East Rift Zone erupted.
Good gas mask.
Well,
You guys aren't fucking.
Most of the lava flow came from Fissure 8, which opened south of the Leilani Estates neighborhood. More fissures continued opening along Kilauea's lower East Rift Zone, eventually reaching Koho and an area called Vacation Land. As you can imagine, Vacation Land was home to many upscale houses and pristine beaches. Lava buried hundreds of homes and evaporated Hawaii's largest lake. According to NASA, Kilauea had erupted over 110 million cubic meters of lava by early June. That's enough to fill 45,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Today, Kapoho, Hawaii is a ghost town. It's unclear if there are plans to rebuild after the 2018 eruption. Cape Verde, also known as Cabo Verde, is a horseshoe-shaped island nation off the west coast of northern Africa. It's home to about 600,000 people living between 10 volcanic islands. On the southwestern end of that horseshoe is the island of Fogo, home to about 35,000 people. They live in the shadow of Pico de Fogo, a 9,000-foot stratovolcano on the island's northeastern edge. The worst part about living on a volcanic island is that you don't have much room to run when the mountain erupts. From November 23rd of 2014 to February 8th of 2015, Pico de Fogo spewed between 100 and 125 million tons of lava across the island. Crops burned, buildings crumbled, and several villages vanished from the map. Time-lapse footage between November 30th and December 3rd shows us how things only went from bad to worse. If you thought that was stunning during the day, just wait until you see what it looks like at night. According to reports, this 2014 to 2015 eruption registered as a 3 out of 8 on the Volcanic Explosivity Index, making it the largest eruption at Pico de Fogo since records began. By the time this footage ends on December 3rd, the eruption had already leveled 2 villages and destroyed 1,000 homes. Sadly, that wasn't even the halfway point. By early February, Pico de Fogo had caused 45.3 million euros in damages and displaced thousands of people. Mount Bezymiany is the smallest of 3 volcanoes on the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia. Technically, the Russian word Bezymiany translates to nameless in English, so Mount Bezymiany is literally named the Nameless Volcano. On April 11th of 2023, Russian volcanologists found themselves ducking for cover when the nameless mountain blew its lid. That's not a cloud you see looming overhead. It's a giant plume of ash and volcanic rock. Our scientists had no choice since they couldn't outrun the eruption. Luckily, they had time to build a small hut out of the equipment they had on hand. Watch how the ash cloud moves overhead and drops tiny rocks onto their makeshift roof. According to reports, Mount Bezymiany had been erupting since the end of March. Lava flowed from the crater, and giant ash clouds were reported in the sky. Despite the warnings, these scientists departed for the mountain on April 7th, 4 days before this eruption. The plan was to collect samples and install gas analyzers, but those plans were quickly halted when Mother Nature decided she didn't want them there. Due to the brutal conditions, rescue teams needed a whole day to reach them. We're assuming everyone became good friends under their makeshift hut. If you enjoyed this video and want to see another just like it, be sure to click the link on screen now. With that, thanks for watching and be sure to tune in next time.